All right, we got a huge game in Foxborough Sunday. It's the 9-4 defending AFC Eastern champion Buffalo Bills heading to Foxborough to play the 11-2 Patriots. 11-2. They're on a 10-game winning streak, and the title of the AFC East is on the line. This is going to be a good one. This game preview is presented to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. One touchdown can change everything. The crowd, the momentum, the game itself. Feel that same rush with DraftKings Sportsbook, where every touchdown can bring you closer to cashing in. With DraftKings, all the action is in your hands. First touchdown, anytime touchdown, live bets. Every play, every snap, every game matters. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. When your team hits the end zone, you can hit the payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Gruden. That's code Gruden. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Top of Mind is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season's in full swing, and whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready, the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game. Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. All right, what a game we have in Foxborough. The Bills, the Patriots, December football, meaningful game with the AFC East Division title on the line. Two great defensive head coaches. Everybody knows Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills. He's a consistent leader. He's got a team of football character guys, and they have fought back. They've won 2 straight games. They came from behind, 10 points down in the fourth quarter last week to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. And McDermott was very aggressive. He went for it on 4th and 3 or more 3 times in the football game. That was the deciding factor from a decision standpoint. McDermott's all in on whatever it takes to win. And what a job Mike Vrabel has done in his first year as the head coach of the Patriots. A 10-game winning streak? I mean, since 1970, how many first-year coaches have a 10-game winning streak? Not many. Jim Caldwell did it with the Colts, and my man Steve Mariucci did it back in 1997 with the San Francisco 49ers. 10 straight wins is incredible. He's going for it on 4th down. He's 14 for 18. So his aggressive decision-making will play into this game as well. But what a job he has done with his staff turning over this roster. I mean, they had more money to spend in free agency than any other team in the league, and they spent that money wisely. They got some defensive starters to come in, and they have played extremely well. Robert Spillane, leading tackler. Even though Milton Williams is hurt, he's their best defensive interior player. They've done a nice job in the draft, too. They got a number of rookies that are playing a significant role. And if you count the snaps played by rookies in the NFL this year, look at the Patriots, 37-19. 3,719 snaps played by rookies, second most in the league to the Cleveland Browns. New free agent players, new rookie players, and he hired one hell of a coaching staff, starting with Josh McDaniels, who has returned to New England, and he has delivered huge dividends. He also inherited a pretty good young quarterback named Drake May. What a hell of a thing that must be to walk to work every day, open up your car door, walk in there and see a young quarterback like this that's just now starting to turn into his prime. Mike Vrabel is 6-0 coming off a bye week. And remember, New England is coming off a bye week. That is very beneficial to this Patriot team who has some injuries. Harold Landry, their defensive end who leads their team in sacks, he had a knee issue. Robert Spillane, he needed some rest. They needed this bye week, and it came at the right time. But Vrabel's been very effective coming off these extra days of preparation. Buffalo's had kind of a roller coaster season. They started 4-0. They're just 5-4 since. But these last 2 victories have been impressive. They've leaned on their MVP quarterback, Josh Allen, and that come-from-behind win against Cincinnati, I think, can be a huge jolt of confidence for this Bill team. They know they can come from behind in any situation. They did it against the Ravens in the opener, down 15 in the fourth quarter. They just did Joe Burrow and the Bengals in down by 10 with 7 minutes left. Buffalo knows how to win these December games. Since 2020, they are 19-3 in the month of December. So this is not going to be foreign territory to them. New England, they are 6-15 in December games since 2020. And I know Vrabel wasn't there. It's a whole new roster. Well, this is the next step to showcase how serious they are in becoming the #1 seed in the AFC. This is exciting stuff. I think this is a huge game for the Patriots, not only to take the next step, but to show the NFL and all the fans out there we can beat a quality team. When you look at New England's wins this year, they have come against teams that have a combined .349 winning percentage. That's the worst winning percentage in the league. So they haven't really beaten a quality team except for these Buffalo Bills, who they beat in Week 5, 23-20. And if you go back and study that game, like I'm sure both staffs are doing this week, that game was really highlighted by 3 turnovers. The turnover margin decided that game, and I think it will decide the outcome of this game like they most often do. Last time these two teams played, Buffalo turned it over 3 times. 0-0 game in the first quarter. Josh Allen and Dawson Knox, they missed a handoff on a jet sweep. They turned it over in plus territory early in the game. The second time, it's 0-0. Buffalo's backed up on their own 5-yard line. They complete a pass to Keon Coleman, and Robert Spillane, boom, knocked it out. That resulted in points for the Patriots. And then the third one, Josh Allen in the red zone, going in for points. On second down, he throws a square in to Khalil Shakir. I thought Shakir stopped running. Allen was a little bit late, and Marcus Jones picked his pocket. Those 3 turnovers started this 10-game run by the New England Patriots. Can Buffalo put their foot down and end this winning streak? It'll be interesting because New England went to Buffalo and ended their home winning streak. I'm sure Buffalo would like to return the favor. Let's go back to a couple key facts in that game, Week 5. Drake May completed 22 out of 30, 273 yards. May was 13 for 14 in the second half. You could say he shredded Buffalo. The other thing to keep an eye on is Stephon Diggs, the ex-Buffalo Bill, now the leading receiver of the Patriots, 10 catches, 146 yards. He did a lot of damage on scramble drills, and he had a great run after the catch on a little 6-yard stick route. But Diggs did his old team in. I'm sure he's a focal point right now for the Buffalo Bill defense. But you know, it all came down to the 2-minute drill at the end of the game. It was 20-20. And this is where Drake May, I think, took off and took another step in his career. On the first play, they had him sacked. Daquan Jones had him sacked. He somehow got away from it and completed a pass to Diggs for a 12-yard gain. Later in the same drive, Greg Rousseau on a stunt is beating down on Drake May, and he throws the ball in the hole of cover 2 between the corner and the safety. A magnificent play. And then on the last play before they kick the field goal, Joey Bosa has a pure sack. And again, he has the playing strength to get away from it and maintain field position. Had Bosa brought Drake May down, we go to overtime. But Drake May looked like Josh Allen in that 2-minute drill in an incredible finish to that game. Both teams are dealing with a lot of injuries. We'll get into that later. But when you look at New England, they played last week against the Giants without their left tackle, Will Campbell. Their left guard, Jared Wilson, was out. Their best defensive tackle, Milton Williams, was out. Tonga, their huge nose tackle and run stuffer, was out. And their Pro Bowl special teams player was out. Then you look at Buffalo. Where the hell was Joey Bosa? He's got a hamstring. Where's Terrell Bernard, the leading tackler on the team? He's out. You keep looking at him, and you don't see Spencer Brown at right tackle, and we all know Ed Oliver, their best interior rusher, is still out. So both teams are dealing with injuries and the potential of having to play a big game without key players. One of the things I think that's really cool in this game is you think about the AFC East. For the last 2+ decades, 2 quarterbacks have dominated this division. You remember a guy named Tom Brady? Hell, he won 11 straight AFC East titles. Then he won 6 out of 8 before that 11 straight season title run began. He dominated the East. He gets out of town in 2019, and Josh Allen shows up, wins 5 straight titles. And guess what? We got a new kid on the block, Drake May. If Drake May can win this game, he becomes the first quarterback other than Tom Brady and Josh Allen in the last 20-plus years to win the AFC East. Good luck, Drake. Let's take a look at this playoff picture right now. If the Patriots win this game against Buffalo, they win the AFC East title. They secure a home game in the playoffs. But I think it's bigger than that. New England wants that #1 seed. You know, they've been the #1 seed in the AFC 7 times. 6 of those times they went to the Super Bowl, and they won it 3 of those times. So they want that #1 seed. And if they can keep winning, remember, it's them and Denver. They're both tied at 11-2. But the Patriots, they have a favorable schedule. They have the 6-7 Ravens up next, and then they have Miami and the New York Jets. Those are 3 games they can win. Meanwhile, Denver's got to play Green Bay, Jacksonville on the road, who's 9-4. They got to play the Chiefs. You never know what the hell's coming out of the locker room with those guys. And they got to finish with Malasak's 9-4 Chargers. So there's a great chance New England could secure the #1 overall seed and win the East. Would that be a hell of a year or what? I mean, Mark Wahlberg would go crazy. Look, Wahlberg gave me this shirt, you know. I have connections. 2 of these Patriot fans, Dave Portnoy and Mark Wahlberg. I got their phone numbers, man. How about that? And I think it's really interesting for Buffalo. I mean, yeah, I know Buffalo's 9-4. They're not out of it yet. There's a chance they could win the East. I don't think Buffalo could care less whether they're in as a division champion or in as a wild card. But definitely, they need to make sure they're aware of the Chargers at 9-4. The Texans are surging at 8-5. And don't forget about the rest. The Colts, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins are still in the mix. But, you know, I ask myself this a lot. I say, what about the Bills? They've never won a Super Bowl. You've heard about all this playoff heartache. Well, think about this. This is the year. It looks like if they get in the tournament, there's no Lamar Jackson. There's a chance they get in there, no Joe Burrow. And most importantly, there's no Pat Mahomes. So if Buffalo can get in the tournament, get a couple of these men healthy with Josh Allen, good God. Because when I watch them, I hear everybody talking about the injury concerns. Everybody says they don't have a wide receiver that can dominate the game. They're not good enough on the perimeter. They don't have a good enough pass rush. Well, let me tell you this. They got number 17, sorry for pointing, Josh freaking Allen, the MVP last year of the league. And when you watch this guy, you know this. We can outscore anybody, and we can kick your ass with this quarterback. Last week against Cincinnati, 2 plays tell me this. I mean, it's 28-18. The Bengals have the lead. There's 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. And the Bengals come after Josh Allen with an all-out blitz. And here's number 52 for the Bengals, Cedric Johnson. No one blocked him. He has Josh Allen dead to rights. Most quarterbacks would take a knee and prevent getting killed. And then they would come over to the sideline and yell at the coach. You know what Josh Allen did? He made number 52, Cedric Johnson, miss, and he ran for a 40-yard touchdown. Are you shitting me? Touchdown! Now it's 39-34 with 1:50 left. And the Bills have the ball 3rd and 15. We're going to have to punt the ball back to Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow's going to kill us like he always does. But you know what happens? I really believe Buffalo blew the protection. And number 58, Joseph Asai, defensive end, is unblocked. He's got Josh Allen dead to rights on 3rd and 15. Josh Allen takes off. Then he makes Geno Stone miss, and he gets a 17-yard gain, and the Bills run out the clock. 2 plays, there's nothing there. Nothing. And he crushes Cincinnati and ends their season. So with Josh Allen, anything is possible. This will be a heavyweight fight. I'm anxious to see the weather in this game. You know, I don't think the weather's going to impact Josh Allen. He proved it last week in a blizzard against the Bengals. I'm anxious to see this young Drake May play down the stretch when the weather's really crappy. Matter of fact, the last time I was in Foxborough, there was a tuck rule in a freaking blizzard. That weather can be a pain in the ass, just so you know. Let's talk about these 2 quarterbacks quickly. We all know the reigning MVP, Josh Allen, is in town. He's having a career year, 70% complete, 8.0 yards per attempt. That's unbelievable, and he's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. That's unprecedented in NFL history. Nobody's ever thrown for 70%, had 8 yards per attempt, and ran for 5.5 yards a carry. He and Drake May make big plays. Both May and Allen have 49 completions of 20 yards or more. That's ranked second in the league. Matt Stafford has 50. What I love about Allen the most is he plays his best in big games against the best competition. You can ask Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Pat Mahomes. And I'm sure Allen is looking at Drake May thinking, you're going to take my MVP trophy? You're going to take over the AFC East? I just have a feeling Josh Allen will have something to say about that. And when you look at Drake May, he's doing some things that the great Tom Brady never did. He's completing 71.5% of his passes. That leads the NFL. He's averaging 8.8 yards per attempt. That's unprecedented in NFL history. No one's ever had that high of a completion percentage and averaged that much per attempt. The man has a 112 quarterback rating. All of his statistics are at the top of the league. He's had a great year. But what is the secret sauce in both of these quarterbacks' greatness? It's their ability to scramble. Drake May has 321 yards rushing while scrambling. He can take off and kill you. And Josh Allen, he's got 403. So the most important word you're going to hear this week on the defensive sideline is plaster. Man, you better plaster to your man in coverage for a long period of time. Linebackers, safeties, corners, you got to plaster. The other thing they got to do is they got to figure out how to contain these quarterbacks with their rush. Do not let them escape because they can kill you. So use some stunts, perhaps some blitzing to restrict these scramble lanes. But plaster and contain are going to be very, very important words. And both of these defenses, let's be honest, they should be the best in football at this because they got to practice against Josh Allen every day and Drake May every day. So you would think throughout mini camp and training camp, the coaches have been making a big deal of this. Let's take a look at the kickers in this game because it could come down to a field goal just like it did in Week 5. Remember Andy Borregales, the rookie kicker out of Miami, Florida? He busted a 52-yarder with 15 seconds left to win that game. It wasn't very long ago. But Borregales, what a year he's had. 105 points. No rookie in New England Patriot history has done that. And he's really heated up. 23 out of 26 on field goals and 36 out of 38 on PATs. That's a nice year. One other note with the special teams of the New England Patriots. They have a punt returner who's a real badass, Marcus Jones. He just took one back 94 yards against the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. I know that because I hurt my elbow slamming on a table. Like, don't kick the ball to this guy. Anyways, that was his second punt return for a touchdown this year, third in his career. And Julian Edelman, all-time punt returning touchdown winner for the Patriots, has 4. I started thinking about punt returners in New England Patriot history. I got the coach Irving Fryer, badass. Troy Brown, Edelman. How about Mike Haynes, the Hall of Famer? This guy, Marcus Jones, he returned his 75th punt, which qualifies him to become ranked as an all-time punt returner in NFL history. You know where he ranks, Clay? Where? Number 1. 14.6 average all time. You better be careful kicking the ball to 25. And the Buffalo Bills, their kicker is Prater. Matt Prater, he's had a real good year, the veteran, filling in for Tyler Bass. 18 for 20 on field goals, 38 out of 41 on PATs. He has long-range ability. And don't go to sleep on this returner, Ray Davis, number 22 of the Bills. He leads the NFL with a 30.6-yard kickoff return average. So Marcus Jones on punt returns for the Patriots, Ray Davis on kickoff returns for the Bills. Look out. So if you're the special teams coach, make sure the kickers and punters are keeping the ball the hell away from these guys, okay? Injuries for the Patriots. Will Campbell is still out at left tackle. There is a chance Jared Wilson could return at left guard. Keep an eye on that. Will Tonga, number 95, play. He had a chest injury, did not play against the Giants, but coming off the bye, they would love to have their big run stuffer back. Milton Williams is still out. And keep an eye on Terrell Jennings, running back. I think he's in concussion protocol. Not sure he's going to play. For Buffalo, several players to keep an eye on. Spencer Brown, will he play at right tackle? He's been replaced by Ryan Vandemark, who's done a hell of a job, but Spencer Brown is a hell of a player. They're also potentially going to be missing Joey Bosa, and they cannot afford to have him out of the lineup. He leads the team in sacks and forced fumbles. He's pretty much irreplaceable, I think, if Buffalo's going to win a championship. And Terrell Bernard, team captain, middle linebacker, he's missed the last couple games with an elbow, and I still think Joshua Palmer, wide receiver, is going to be out with this lingering ankle injury. But keep an eye on these injuries. As you know, they can really affect the football team in big games. Let's get into it. This offense-defense matchup is brought to you by Fox 1. On Fox 1, you can stream your favorite live sports. So you never miss those "did you see that" moment? That means Fox NFL Sundays are now on Fox 1. NFL Sundays streaming live the way it was always meant to be watched. It's also the best way to stay locked in on your action, whether you're sweating your fantasy matchup, tracking a parlay, or just riding the chaos as it happens. I hate watching things on delay. I gotta see it live, man! Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox 1 for complete terms and conditions. Okay, what an exciting matchup. Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots, going up against Coach McDermott, Coach Babich, defensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, with all the money on the table. Whew, got me feeling nicey. Anyways, the Patriots have really transformed themselves into one of the league's best offenses and arguably the best quarterback in the AFC this year. They are 7th in the league in scoring, 8th in total offense, 21st in rushing, 2nd in the league in passing. And since McDaniels has returned, this team, the Patriots, averaged 10 points a game more this year than they did last year, 70 yards a game more. That's a lot, man, in 1 year. You know, last year, the Patriots' bye was on the same week as it is this year. Last year, the Patriots were 3-10, spiraling out of hell, I don't know where they were going. They didn't look worth a damn. And 1 year later, they're 11-2, and they really look good on offense too, let me tell you. This Patriot offense, number 2 pass offense, it'll be going up against the number 3 ranked pass defense. Buffalo has done an excellent job mixing coverages, man, zone pressures, and they have some really formidable people in their secondary. So it'll be a great challenge for McDaniel and his young quarterback, Drake May. You know, Josh McDaniels, he gets criticized a little bit like all of us do. He got to coach Tom Brady, blah, blah, blah. You know, everywhere McDaniels goes, he gets the most out of his quarterback. I thought with the Raiders, he did a hell of a job with Aiden O'Connell. That young quarterback got better and better and better. He had Mac Jones playing great as a New England Patriot, and he's done a hell of a job with this young Drake May, let me tell you. The offense is very multiple. They'll play 2 backs at a time a lot. 21 personnel with 1 tight end. 22 personnel with 2 tight ends. Hell, you'll even see Stevenson and Henderson, 2 halfbacks in the game together. And they use a fullback, believe it or not. Jack Westover. They have a lot of inventory, and they're going to make you play your base defense. A lot of defenses nowadays play nickel about 80% of the time because nobody uses 2 backs. Well, the Patriots do. And Josh McDaniels does a great job mixing this modern RPO, single back, no back offense with some classic old school hits, man. I mean, I'm seeing play action passes and running schemes I haven't seen since 1985. I was a young man then. The other thing is the Patriots will get under the center as much as anybody in the league. And they'll really accommodate their running backs by giving them a little bit more time to see the cuts and let the plays develop a little bit. Plus, they get a head of steam charging toward the line of scrimmage, and it's really set up a lot of really nasty play-action passes. You know what else I like, Jake?
What?
I like ball distribution. I mean, they're going to use different running backs. They got Stevenson back after an injury. Henderson was the NFL Rookie of the Month in November. Hell, I saw him live. He took it to my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. They'll hand the ball to a couple different backs. This is the only team in the NFL that has 5 receivers with over 400 yards catching and 2 or more touchdowns. I mean, you look at it. You better deal with Stephon Diggs, 705. Matt Collins, 440. You got Demario Douglas, 402. And over here, don't go to sleep on Kayshon Boutte. This guy's a freaking dangerous deep ball receiver, man. He's got 481. And Hunter Henry, their tight end, hell, he's got 610 yards and 5 touchdowns. So they can hand it to different guys, and they can throw it to a lot of different guys. They got great ball distribution. And you hear about this Patriot way stuff, do your job. Well, if you really look into it, one of the core philosophies in the New England Patriots' success is they have had unselfish players. And you got to be unselfish, man, to have 5 guys with over 400 yards receiving. Most guys want 2,000 yards and you get none. But the Patriots, they work as well together as any offense in the league. I heard Tom Brady ask the question one time, who's your favorite receiver? He said it's the open receiver. And I think that's how the Patriots are playing again, and it's refreshing to watch. And their quarterback, Drake May, for a young man in a new offense, in just the second year of his career, he is getting it done at the line of scrimmage, man. We always talk about RCE. Well, his recognition at the line of scrimmage, it leads to communication. And McDaniels has afforded Drake May every opportunity to fix plays. He can audible, he can go alert, and change this run to that run. Very technical, very advanced, and very impressive is his work at the line of scrimmage. They're not wasting plays, just hoping it works. They are very calculated in what they want to do with this system. They use a lot of pre-snap motion to see if it's man or zone, to smell out blitzes, and Drake May will fix a lot of problems before they happen. The other thing that's really cool to watch is the detailed pass protection that the Patriots put on tape. Tight ends will nudge defensive ends before they release. Running backs, excellent at chipping defensive ends before they release. The backs know who to block, they know how to block, and for the most part, they've delivered good pickups. Although my good friend Henderson, he got beat again last week. I think he got bullied by a New York Giant. But all in all, this is a very impressive, detailed pass offense that has balance. They can run it with some pretty good backs as well. The Patriots are struggling a bit in the red zone. You know, if you watch that Giant game last week, they get it down in the red zone 5 times, they get 1 touchdown. And then the week before that, they're 0 for 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals. And on the season, they're just 25th now in scoring touchdowns. 51% touchdown ratio in the red zone. Not going to win you a championship. They got to get touchdowns. They've also turned the ball over 4 times in the red area. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And if you recall, those fumbles cost them big time against the Steelers. Anything goes in short yardage. When you get to a 3rd or 4th and 1 with the Patriots on offense, remember Gruden told you, anything goes. You might see Tonga, number 95, come in here at fullback. Against Tampa Bay, he hooks Antoine Winfield, forces a bad run fit, and Travion Henderson went for 60 yards right in my backyard. Then the next week, you might see Thayer Mumford, a 6'6", 330-pound offensive tackle, check in at tight end. Then you might see an unbalanced line where both tackles line up on the same side. Josh McDaniels is pulling out all the stops to get these 3rd and 1s done. And as I said, the Patriots are number 1 in the NFL on 4th down. 14 for 18, that's pretty impressive. And I know Vrabel and McDaniel, they have a big history together. So they collaborate on these decisions well before the game has started. And against Buffalo, you bet your ass they got some 4th down calls up their sleeve. They got to keep the ball away from Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bill defense, Coach McDermott, Coach Babbitt, they're 14th in the league in scoring defense, 10 in total defense, and they're 28th against the run, 3rd against the pass. But they've been a little bit better the last 2 weeks against the run. One of the things that's most noticeable about this Buffalo defense is the injuries on the defensive line. You're missing your best pass rusher on the edge in Joey Bosa. You're missing your best inside rusher in Ed Oliver. And then they had Michael Hoyt, the ex-LA Ram, for his first game against Kansas City. He was a very impressive part of that win. He's out for the year. So they're missing 3 key players, and the pass rush really hasn't been the same. So I look for a little bit more blitzing against Drake May from this defensive coaching staff. And if you remember last week, Christian Benford, he got home twice on corner blitzes. One he tipped and ran it back for a touchdown. And then another one at the end of the half, he got a sack on Joe Burrow. Watch the cats, man. The corner cats are coming to you, Drake May. I mean, these corner blitzes won the game for Buffalo last week. They line up in just a straight shell defense. They had Cam Lewis and they had Shaq Thompson in the A-gaps. This is their double A look, where both linebackers are threatening the A-gap blitzes. So all the attention is up inside. And here's Christian Benford just standing over there playing bump and run. I'm just playing bump and run. That's what Joe Burrow thought. But on the snap of the ball, they bring Cam Lewis, they bring Williams, they bring Rousseau, and here comes Christian Benford off the edge. And on the snap of the ball, Hancock rotates to the flat. Bishop rolls over here to play 1/2, and here's Teron Johnson flying back here to play 1/2. They roll up the corner on the outside, and Rousseau and Shaq Thompson buzz out of here to defend the trips. And here comes Benford. Sack at the end of the first half, took points away from Burrow, and really pissed off Cincinnati as they headed to the locker room. I mean, the second corner blitz was the deciding blow in the game. This time he came off the right side. So if you're a wide receiver and you even think the corner's blitzing, what's the call? Watch the what, Jake?
Cat.
Watch the cat. Because what happens is Rousseau spikes inside to create room. Here comes Benford. On the snap of the ball, Hancock rotates. Here comes Poyer back to the third. And Joe Burrow tries to float the side adjust over Benford's head. Benford jumps, which he's not supposed to do. He tips the ball, runs it back for a touchdown. Watch the cat. Knock on a grease board if you're with me. But I do believe if you're New England, you better be alert for all kind of blitzes. Not only the cats, they got a 3-down double mug package. They got a sugar look where they'll bring both linebackers, one in the A gap, one in the B gap. They'll either blitz or bluff out of there. They have to help this pass rush by adding some blitzes to the game plan, and I think that's going to be very important for New England to look out for. Buffalo has to really have a great scramble plan for Drake May. We've already talked about plaster and contain. I can't say it enough. May really hurt Buffalo in that first game with his scrambling. And it wasn't just him taking off and running. I mean, he found Stephon Diggs twice for big plays, creating time, moving around in the pocket. The Bills are using Christian Benford a lot differently now than they did back in week 5. Not only is he a guy they're using as a blitzer, now they're using star coverage, I call it. Say, what is star coverage?
What is star coverage?
Well, it's when you tell Benford in certain situations when we're playing man coverage, you go cover their star. And he's done a hell of a job. Couple times he did it against Jamar Chase. He went out and got Tet McMillan. He went out and got Igbuka. He went and got DK Metcalf. I'm telling you, I saw the guy go out and get Nico Collins. So this is a great coverage guy, a great blitzer. He's opportunistic. He recovered a fumble for a touchdown against Pittsburgh. Benford, keep an eye on 47. He's going to line up on the right side of the offense. He plays left corner for the Bills. When he comes over here, there's a good chance it's man-to-man, and he's going up against your star. They got to play better on defense this week than they did last week. You know, the Bengals come to Buffalo, they converted their first 7 third downs, and they would have had 8 in a row. I mean, Burrow has Higgins wide open, and he misfired on a 3rd and 15 play. The Bengals were 10 for 12 on 3rd down. Could have won that game had it not been for the heroics of my man Christian Benford on those corner cats. Got to play better on 3rd down. I believe Josh McDaniels is really going to challenge this Buffalo run defense. Buffalo's had a lot of injuries in their front 4, but how about linebacker? Milano's been in and out of the lineup. Now we don't know if Bernard is going to play. Shaq Thompson has been in and out of the lineup. So I do think they are going to really have to prove they can stop the run. And if you look at yards after contact like I do to really define how good your run defense is, Buffalo's given up more yards after contact than any team in the league. So forget about tackling the guy. Knock him back, man, and eliminate the movement after contact. I really believe that's a secret winning edge in having a good run defense. Who's going to step up for the Buffalo Bill defensive line? Last 5 games, just 3 sacks. They really have not had any consistency up the inside. Without Ed Oliver, we haven't seen much rush at all from Walker. Daquan Jones gets a little bit, but I'm telling you, they got to generate some inside rush so these edge rushers can get some natural sacks when the quarterback moves. Let's take a look at the matchups in this game. The offensive line of the Patriots, I have circled the left side. We all know Will Campbell is out at left tackle. He's been a very good rookie. Started 11 games. And left guard Jared Wilson, he's out also. There is a chance he could play, but Vidarian Lowe and Ben Brown filled in last week against the Giants. They played pretty good. You know, Lowe is no inexperienced man. I mean, he started 13 games for the Patriots last week, but I look for number 59, Lowe, to be the starter at left tackle. And if Bosa plays, that's a matchup that could really favor the Bills. If he doesn't play, you're going to see a lot of A.J. Epinesa. And we love Epinesa. He's got 2.5 sacks. He's got 2 interceptions. He had one last week on a tip pass. He has recovered a fumble, but Epinesa, no sacks in the last 5 games. Who does Buffalo have? Is it Bosa? Is it Epinesa to go up against the backup Lowe? Jared Wilson out of the game. It'll be Ben Brown, and Ben Brown wears number 77. He's been an extra tight end in some situations, but who does Buffalo have? Maybe Daquan Jones, Larry Ogunjobi. One of those veteran players has got to go over there and test the young left guard. Garrett Bradbury's been solid at center. He was ill last week against the Giants. He gutted it out. He's an athletic center that can do a lot of things. He's a good communicator. Mike Owenu is the right guard, number 71. He's a veteran. He's the only lineman I recognize a lot from last year, but he's a solid player. And give Morgan Moses, right tackle number 76, his props. 11th season. He's been with Washington. He's been with the Jets. He's only really given up 1 sack this season. He's having a good year on that right side. And for Buffalo, is this the week we see Greg Rousseau rescue this pass rush, man? Rousseau is one of my favorite players. He does have 34 pressures. He's a good run defender. He had a sack against the Patriots that first time around, but he hasn't had any sacks in the last 5 games. He's only got 3 for the season. If Greg Rousseau's listening to me, let's freaking go, man. They got to get a lot out of him in this game. Jordan Phillips, Daquan Jones, Larry Ogunjobi, and Walker, the rookie from Kentucky, they got to raise hell. They got to find an inside rush somewhere in this game. And over here at right defensive end, we need Bosa back. But if he can't play, as I said, it'll be Epinesa. And I did see rookie second-round pick T.J. Sanders, who was brought in to play defensive tackle. Hell, he's playing defensive end. And I saw him chasing Aaron Rodgers a couple weeks ago. He doesn't have the long speed to go make these pursuit plays on the edge. But I am worried a little bit about the depth and about the inside rush of this front 4 of the Bills. At wide receiver, let's give the Patriots a lot of credit. Stephon Diggs, he has come in here and really taken off. He had an injury last year with the Texans. He's bounced around the league a little bit. There hasn't been any drama from Stephon Diggs. He has bought into the Mike Vrabel system, the culture. He's become a leader. 64 catches, 705 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They'll play him in the slot. They'll play him outside. He's an accomplished route runner, and he killed the Buffalo Bills, his former team, the first time. 10 catches, 146 yards. A lot of that was after the catch. They also are getting a lot out of Mac Hollins, number 13. Big guy, 440 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. He's an excellent blocker in the run game. He has great speed to rip the top off of coverages. He plays his ass off. They also have behind him Demario Douglas. He has 402 yards, 3 touchdowns. He wears number 3, and they love to put him in motion. He is a very crafty, quick, natural hands catcher. I really like Douglas. And over here, they got Kayshon Boutte. I love that name. This guy is the deep threat of the New England Patriots. Better keep an eye on number 9. Keep an eye on that booty. Keep an eye on that booty, as I say. But I tell you, they've thrown the ball to him 8 times deep, over 20 yards in flight. He's caught 6 out of 8, 4 touchdown passes deep. That's 1 less than T. Higgins of the Bengals. This guy Boutte, man, he is fast and he has great ability to track the deep ball. And don't forget this about Drake May. There's 2 things he does as good as anybody on the planet. He throws the ball in tight windows. Matter of fact, almost 20% of his passes are in tight quarters. And this is, I think, the most accurate deep ball passer in football. I mean, he drops them on a dime, man. It's impressive. Hell, they also have a rookie, number 18, Kyle Williams out of Washington State. He has a 50-yard touchdown against my Tampa Bay Bucks, and he goes deep with a beautiful bump and run release against the New York Giants. He's coming on. So really good young receivers. If you line up on the right, you're probably going to see Christian Benford. We've talked about him enough. Benford will move around if Coach McDermott has that star coverage plan intact. But for the most part, you'll see Benford on the offensive right. What's the cat? The other corner for the Buffalo Bills, well, is Tre'Davious White. He played great for the Bills, left. He went to the Rams. He went to the Ravens. He's back. He is a great leader. He is a good football player. He got beat deep last week by T. Higgins, but he's splitting time with Maxwell Hairston, their number 1 pick out of Kentucky. Hairston's been a mixed bag, you know. He got beat for a touchdown last week by Higgins. Waddle beat him up a little bit in Miami a few weeks ago. He's had his ups, had his downs, but at least he gets to go to work every day with Tre'Davious White, and he can learn from one of the best pros in the league. But why did the Buffalo Bills try to sign Darius Slay? Perhaps they're not happy with their overall play at corner. And in the slot, I think you have one of the more unique nickel corners in Teron Johnson, number 7. He hasn't made the splash plays we're accustomed to seeing. He's had a little bit of some injuries this year, but he is an excellent player against the run and the pass. He can cover backs, tight ends, or receivers. He can handle quickness. He can get off blocks. He's a badass. The tight ends for the Patriots are a big part of this operation. And Hunter Henry, he fits the Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniel profile of what a Patriot is. Complete unselfishness, versatile, tough, smart, team-oriented. I mean, this guy plays fullback in a 2-back set. He'll block his ass off on ISO blocks, pick up blitzes. He does a hell of a job at the point of attack in the running game. And he has 600 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. 85 Henry is a problem on these play-action passes, let me tell you. They also are getting some work out of Austin Hooper, number 81. He struggles a little bit in pass protection, but he is a functional receiver. And keep an eye on number 74, Thayer Mumford, the ex-Raider, Ohio State Buckeye, just signed off the Browns practice squad. Mumford, he can come in and play tight end and really give you some pop in some of these obvious rundowns. And the safeties for the Bills, they brought back Jordan Poyer, who played a long time for Buffalo. He went off to Miami, was out of football. They brought him back when they had injuries to Taylor Rapp, DeMar Hamlin, and Poyer's been solid. And he's also been a great mentor to their young draft pick, Jordan Hancock, who splits time, but really when you look at it, Poyer takes the majority of the reps. But they do an excellent job bringing a young kid on. So you'll see a little bit of 21 Poyer and 37 the rookie Hancock. And they got to do a good job handling multiple shifts, motions, and different formations from this Patriot offense. And the strength of the Buffalo Bills secondary to me has been Cole Bishop. You know, Bishop came out of that game last week against the Bengals. He had cramping. And I'm like, you're cramping on a snowy day? What the hell's wrong with you, Bishop? You got to get your Wheaties, man. We got to have you this week. This is a badass, man. 71 tackles. He leads the Buffalo Bills. He leads the team with 3 interceptions. Hell, if you watched him against Kelsey and the Kansas City Chiefs, this guy can really play the ball. They need Bishop big time for the entire game. This has everything I'm looking for. Up-and-coming superstar quarterback and a balanced ball distribution offense against the Buffalo Bills. We got to get to the bottom of this. Okay, this Buffalo Bill offense against this New England defense. Some great storylines here as well. Offensive coordinator Joe Brady. What a job they've done again this year. A lot of injuries. Both tackles were out against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, their receivers have been in and out of here. Joshua Palmer, Keon Coleman. I don't know what's going on, but they've evolved. They've used the running game more this year. They've come underneath the center. They have a brilliant tailback in James Cook, but they're averaging 28.9 points a game, man. That's 5th in the league. They're 2nd in the league, averaging 384 yards per outing. And they've done a nice job. 158 yards a game rushing, that's number 1 in football. And they're still 11th throwing the rock at 226 per game. But the number 1 rushing offense will go up against the number 3 rushing defense. So great against great, what gives? You know, when you look at the rushing attack of the Buffalo Bills, I think you have to take Josh Allen's yardage out of it. He does get a lot of yards scrambling, which enhances and really kind of fluffs up the rushing stats. But if you go back and watch this team play the Pittsburgh Steelers, honest to God, I still can't get over it. 51 rushes, 249 yards with 2 backup tackles. And this guy, James Cook, is not good. He's got phenomenal vision. He has power, quickness, strength, and he'll press it. He'll press it and take it. He'll press it and bounce it outside. He'll press it and cut it all the way backside. He has great ability to make full speed cuts. The only issue with Cook has been ball security. He has fumbled the ball 6 times this year. He fumbled once last week going in for points against the Cincinnati Bengals. But this rushing attack, they feature Cook when Allen is underneath the center. 85% of Cook's rushes, the quarterback has been under the center. Yes, that's a tendency, but they will throw the ball with some play action passes and bootlegs, so they got to be aware of Cook not only as a runner when Allen is under the center, they got to be alert, obviously, for him coming out of the backfield. This is a high percentage quick game pass offense. Rarely will Josh Allen and Joe Brady throw the ball over 20 yards, just 9% of the time. Very rarely will they push the ball down the field. When they do, it's usually a scramble play where Josh Allen has created his own playbook. But they throw it quick and they count on yards after the catch. Matter of fact, when you watch Buffalo, they average 132 yards a game after the catch. That's 4th in the NFL. And when you watch Khalil Shakir, their leading receiver, he's got 51 catches, 585 yards. I will bet you 500 of those yards are after the catch on these quick screens and underneath dishes that he's rallying with. The Bills are balanced. I already said it. They can run it. They can throw it. What I really like about the Buffalo Bill offense is they can take the air out of the ball. They're not afraid to call the same run like they did against the Jets, 5 straight plays. If they smash your face in for a 9-yard gain, they're going to smash you again until you stop it. You can call the Steelers because that's what they did to them just a few weeks later. They don't carry a ton of different runs. And some of their runs, it appears like they're just running them one way. But they are going to run left on this wide zone, and they're going to run right on this duo play where they get 2 double teams. And I'm convinced they run the wide zone, and if it looks good, hey, we're good, we're good. But if there's some cleavage over there, if there's some people hanging around the edge, kill, kill, kill. They'll run the ball to the right with this duo play. But they will rock you, man. You ever hear that song I like to talk about? We will rock you. Good God. They will put some punishing ass hits on you. You better have your big boy shoulder pads on and get your mouthpieces in. They have great ball distribution just like New England does. Do you know that 16 different Buffalo Bills have caught a pass? How about 10 different Buffalo Bills have caught a touchdown pass? That's really a lot of confidence that Joe Brady has in his players, no matter who they are or where they're from. They do a nice job, much like the Patriots, attacking your base defense. They'll use 3 tight ends at a time, 13 personnel. They'll use 22 personnel, 2 backs, 2 tight ends. Hey, if you don't have a great receiving core, use 1 receiver at a time. Why would we play 3 at a time? Use 13 or 22 personnel. They'll play 21 personnel with 2 backs and a tight end. And they have a couple guys on their team that get no glory for some reason. But 2 of my favorite Buffalo Bills are their fullback, number 41, Reggie Gilliam, because he'll play fullback, H-back. He will rock you, like that song I like to sing. And they got a rookie, Jackson Hawes. He's making my Gruden Grinder Hall of Fame. He's making my Pro Bowl this year. This guy will block your ass off. They may not throw him a lot of passes, so he doesn't get a lot of familiarity with, the money and the payout and all that stuff, if that's what you're paying for. But these 2 guys, Gilliam and Hawes, if you see them running around Buffalo, buy them a beer. They get under the center as much or more than the New England Patriots. And that's a little bit different than most teams that you see. And we talked about how it accommodates James Cook. I use that word accommodate. It's not a word I use a lot. It's a lot of syllables. But as the son of a backfield coach, a great runner likes to be 7.5 to 8 yards deep, and he likes a quarterback to get him the ball as deep and as quick as possible so I can start to read my cuts and I can generate some speed attacking the line of scrimmage. And as I've already said, Cook's decision making, his vision to press it, bounce it, or cut it back, good God, who does it better than James Cook? He's got 1,308 yards, second in the league to Jonathan Taylor. And watch out, Jonathan Taylor. Cook is closing in, man, just 48 yards behind you for that rushing title. This running game has helped Buffalo control the game. Control the game? How about 33 minutes and 4 seconds of possession time? That means your opposition gets it 27 minutes or less. And that'll really irritate Josh McDaniels and Drake May. There's nothing worse than being in Foxborough, standing on the sideline, freezing your ass off. They gotta do a great job in New England stopping this running game and getting Buffalo off the field to create opportunities for Drake May. The other thing to consider is, remember, last week, Sean McDermott cut Josh Allen loose on 4th down. They are going to go for it on 4th down to try to preserve these drives. Nobody's doing better on 3rd down than the Bills. So they're staying on schedule with this running game. They're staying on the field with time of possession, and they're willing to go for it on 4th down. I give Joe Brady, Coach McDermott, a lot of credit. When you lose your receivers, you go through transition, you have to reinvent your offense sometimes. And last week, watching this offense play the Bengals, it's the tight ends that have taken off. Kincaid, Knox, Haas. They combine for 11 catches, man, 137 yards. They do all the blocking in these running plays. And they have really reinvented this pass offense, so New England has got to be ready. Remember, Kincaid had 6 catches, 108 yards against the Patriots the first time these 2 teams played. Kincaid beat their safety man, Woodson, twice for nice sizable gains. But I really believe this. The Patriots are going to play a lot of man-to-man against the Buffalo Bills. They did that first time around. I call it one plug. They played man-to-man everywhere, and the 2 linebackers, one of them had the back, the other one had Josh Allen if he scrambled. So this is the game that the wide receivers of the Buffalo Bills have to step up. They need Greg Rousseau on their defense. They need an inside rusher on their defense. They need this young receiving core to step up if the Patriots start playing man coverage. Remember, the Patriots really haven't seen anything like Josh Allen. They saw him once, but that wasn't the best of Josh Allen because of those turnovers. They've seen Ward, Rattler, Gabriel, second-year man Mike Penix. Joe Flacco, who is playing hurt. Jackson Dart's a rookie. They've seen Justin Fields, who's been benched, and they've seen a little bit of Bryce Young and Andy Dalton. Here comes the MVP, all right, against a team that wants to play man-to-man coverage. We got the tight ends rolling. We can throw it and run it with James Cook. Who's it gonna be? Gabe Davis, Keon Coleman, Shakir? Where's Shavers? Why did we sign Brandon Cooks? We got to get the receivers to be a big part of this party. And with this New England Patriot defense, this is the only NFL team that has held every one of their opponents under 28 points. They're fifth in the league in scoring, giving up 18.5 points a game. They're seventh in total defense, third against the run, 14th against the pass. And I think it's all going to come down to, again, how can we contain and limit Josh Allen's scrambling, running and throwing? I already told you he killed Cincinnati at crunch time twice. And they have got to do a great job spying on him with a linebacker or a safety. They got to do a great job plastering in coverage, and they have to do a hell of a job containing him in the pocket. Don't let him run wild, or it's going to be a tough day. The last time these two teams met, Josh Allen scrambled for 53 yards. He found his tight end Kincaid on a couple scramble plays. And had it not been for the turnovers, I remind you, keep it honest, that game could have gone the other way. Justin Fields had 67 yards scrambling. So they've had a hard time keeping quarterbacks under wraps. But these next 2 weeks will determine how good they can be at it, because they got Josh Allen and then Lamar Jackson. So it'll be a great test for them. The run defense, if you look at it, it has slipped a little bit in the last couple weeks. Weeks 1 through 9, they gave up 3.6 yards a carry, 75 yards a game. Kabam! It was impressive. But in the last 4 weeks, they've given up 4.9 yards a carry and 121 yards per game rushing. And I know one of those runs Cincinnati had was a 25-yarder. I call it bullshit yardage on the last play of the first half, where you're running out the clock. Instead of taking a knee against the prevent, they let Chase Brown get about 30. But they have not been as sharp, nor should you expect them to be, without Tonga, number 95, without Milton Williams, two of their top run defenders. Keep an eye on Tonga. Will he play? If he does, that's a huge addition for the Patriot defense. New England has done an excellent job against James Cook during Cook's career. I did a little research for you. He's been held to 65 yards or less 6 out of the last 7 times they played. He got 110 yards in that Week 18 game last year. It was kind of a meaningless game, but they've done a nice job for the most part. I want to see the Patriots use this as a measuring stick game. To win the East, you got to beat the beast in the East, and they got to do it with their defense. This is a measuring stick game. You know, New England has played 9 of the worst scoring offenses in the league this year. And I'm not going to say that that matters, but that needs to be stated. They've only played one top 10 scoring offense, and that is these Buffalo Bills. So this is their opportunity to prove to everybody, not only are we 11-2, we are the New England Patriots. We are the #1 badass seeds in the AFC. I want to see that happen. The Patriots have 40 sacks from their defense. And for a while there, they were coming from everywhere and they were getting sacks and hits. But it's quieted down a little bit in the last few weeks. Harold Landry, top pass rusher, he's got a little bit of a knee. Milton Williams is out. And for whatever reason, the pass rush hasn't shown the same sting that it had in the earlier part of the season. They blitz 33% of the time, which is 7th. And remember, Zach Kerr is calling the shots. Terrell Williams, their defensive coordinator, we wish you the very best, Coach Williams. He's going through some medical situations. We think he's going to be okay, but while he's battling, we got Zach Kerr calling the plays, and he has dialed up some blitzes, man, 33% of the time. They're going to play man-to-man, I do believe. They're going to use Spillane, Robert Spillane, number 14, as a spy on the quarterback. He has the speed to go get you. He did miss Josh Allen on one of those plays in Week 5. But I think when you play man-to-man, you got to be ready for Kincaid in what I call speed trips. You're going to see Buffalo put 3 receivers on one side of the formation and isolate 86 Kincaid on the backside. And if you're in man coverage, you get Marcus Jones, Carlton Davis, you get Gonzalez on one side of the formation. Well, one of the safeties has to come over here to cover Kincaid. And that can be a problem. Speed trips. It gives the quarterback pre-snap recognition that it's man, and it also calls upon their safety man, Woodson. Craig Woodson, a 4th-round pick out of Cal, that puts him in some tough coverage situations, and he's got to be ready for that. Turnovers are going to be the key. We said it at the outset. Remember, James Cook, 6 fumbles, 1 last week. It's got to be in his head. Anytime he's running the ball, pop it out of there, rake it out of there. Blind pursuit, get the ball out of his hands. They have just 2 defensive backs in New England that have recorded an interception. So everybody else, let's go, man. Let's get some interceptions. We got to get a couple turnovers. We got 3 against Buffalo in that first game, and it won us the football game. Let's take a look at the matchups. The Buffalo Bill offensive line, they got a great offensive line coach in Aaron Cromer. He has developed some really good backups, but he's also put together really good design for this running game. Deion Dawkins returns at left tackle, Pro Bowler. He missed 1 game after the Houston Texan game with a concussion. He has had some breakdowns in pass protection. Matter of fact, I've counted 5 sacks coming off this left side. He hasn't given up 5 sacks in the previous 2 years combined. So I don't know if he's 100%, but he's still one hell of an athlete. He can pull, he can really recover. The left guard, the center, and the right guard, David Edwards, Connor McGovern, Osiris Torrance. They've been together and started every game this year. They are badasses, man. I love watching these guys in the running game in particular. They can switch stunts. They can finish you. And they don't commit a lot of penalties. They are solid. And the right tackle, who's it going to be? Spencer Brown, he missed the last couple games. And they've turned to Ryan Vandemark, number 74, who's been very solid in the run and the pass. But Vandemark will be tested in the noise against these New England Patriots. The pass rushers for the Patriots, they're led by Harold Landry, the ex-Tennessee Titan. Give Mike Vrabel credit. He got Landry to come with him from Nashville. He's versatile. Landry can line up inside. He can stunt all the way across the formation. He has great playing speed. He wears number 2. He does have a slight knee problem, but he's fighting through it. I think the bye week came at the right time. 7.5 sacks. So he and Vandemark, the backup right tackle, could have some key battles. On the other side, I am really fired up to see K'Lavon Chaisson. You know, he was a 2020 first-round pick of the Jaguars, and people get down on you. He's not worth it for... Guess what? He's playing like a light switch, man. He's playing fast. I mean, this guy has 6.5 sacks. He has 44 pressures. He wears number 44, and he's playing up to that first-round billing that he had coming out of LSU. I love watching Landry and Chaisson rush the passer. There's another guy, Elijah Ponder, an undrafted free agent, number 91. He played 35 snaps last week against the Giants, with Landry kind of nursing that knee in the second half. Ponder's got 3 sacks. He had a pressure. He had a sack last week against New York. He wears number 91, small college guy in Cal Poly, playing his ass off. They'll bring in number 33, Anthony Jennings. He's been around with New England for a while. Played at Alabama. He can really set the edge. He's a smart football player that plays physical. And inside, without Milton Williams, they have really put a burden on number 90, Barmore, the ex-Crimson Tide man out of Alabama. He wears number 90. Barmore's played almost 480 snaps, 65% of the downs. That's a lot for a big guy. He leads the team with 46 pressures, just 1 sack. He could finish a couple of these a little bit better, but Barmore's playing his ass off for the Patriots. And now, without Milton Williams, you're seeing Durden. He's averaging 31 snaps a game in the last 4 weeks. He wears number 94. He played at NC State, went to the Bengals. They didn't like him. And he gets here with Mike Vrabel. He plays with his hands in the running game, man. You block back on him, he'll get rid of the center, make the tackle. They need a little bit more pass rush from Durden. Eric Gregory, number 55. He played at Arkansas. He was released. He joined the Patriots. He's been taken over for Tonga, number 95, at the nose tackle position, more of a run defender. But you're going to see a bunch of different guys. You'll see Caleb Murphy, number 45, come in here as an inside rusher. You'll see Joshua Farmer, the rookie from Florida State. They're using several different bodies inside. They got to hold the fort down until Milton Williams comes back. We all know how dangerous James Cook is, and his sidekick, Ty Johnson, is playing his ass off. When Ty Johnson comes into the game, he is an excellent pass receiver. He's got a lot of production running the football. They got Ray Davis, number 22, not only an excellent kick returner, but they have 3 very good backs. But clearly it's James Cook. It's the wide zone and it's the duo. And it's a really hard combination to stop. And the linebackers of the Patriots, they're led by Robert Spillane. If you're a football fan, get a Spillane jersey. He's wearing number 14. He epitomizes the Mike Vrabel New England Patriot program, much like their tight end Hunter Henry. I mean, this guy is all about effort and finish. Last week against the Giants, they limited him to about 30 snaps. They wanted to preserve him, I think, for the stretch run. He had 8 straight games where he doesn't come off the field. He's got 97 tackles. He leads the Patriots by far. This guy never gets uncomfortable in any situation. He won the game with a punch-out fumble that he forced against the Bills the last time these two teams played. But Spillane, he is a big reason why this culture has changed. Undrafted out of college, was with the Titans. They said, nah, you're not good enough. Goes to the Steelers. Then he goes to the Raiders. He comes here and he's playing his best football. I'd like to send him a case of whoop-ass for Christmas. Man, I love that guy. Sorry for rambling. The other linebacker, they're using 2 guys. Christian Ellis, number 53. He returned last week. Did you see him hit Jackson Dart on the sideline? Good God. I mean, this guy's playing good. He got benched earlier in the season, and then he had a little hip problem, but he showed up big time, healthy, and he played hard and physical against the Giants with 10 tackles. You're also going to see number 51, Jack Gibbons. And Jack Gibbons is another ex-Tennessee Titan. Mike Vrabel said, come on down, man. They gave him $1.8 million. He plays about 40% of the plays. He's got 42 tackles, 10 tackles on special teams. They have a nucleus of linebackers I really like, and that should help them against this very talented rushing offense of the Bills. Outside, the Bills receivers, we've talked about Shakir. Khalil Shakir leads them in catches, yards, second on the team in touchdowns. A lot of quick screens, a lot of quick throws, a lot of yards after the catch. And when he's in the slot, he's going to see Marcus Jones, number 25, that great punt returner. You know, Marcus Jones, he's played 80% of the plays. He had an interception against Josh Allen in week 5. He has 3 interceptions. He leads the Patriots. You talk about speed and quickness and tenacity. I love Marcus Jones. On the outside for the Buffalo Bills, I don't know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Keon Coleman's time to wake up and become what he's supposed to be? You know, he got off to a great start against Baltimore, over 100 yards in week 1. Then he was suspended, inactive a couple times. Well, he's come back the last couple weeks. 4 catches, 25 yards. He scored a touchdown against Pittsburgh. I would love to see the best of Keon Coleman on the road against the New England Patriots. And if it's not him, it might be Gabe Davis, who's working himself right back into this system. You know, Gabe Davis was a great Buffalo Bill before he took off to Jacksonville. So Gabe Davis, Keon Coleman, whoever lines up on the left, they're going to see Christian Gonzalez, number 0. He's the top corner on the outside for the Patriots. He's been thrown at 61 times. I got the target reel, you know, and only 34 completions. an 80 QB rating against Gonzalez. And if they play a lot of man coverage, it'll be Gonzalez who's got a tall order against these receivers of the Bills. On the other side, it's the ex-Tampa Bay Buccaneer, ex-Detroit Lion, Carlton Davis. He wears number 7. He's been targeted 54 times. He's given up a 95.5 QBR, had a big pass interference penalty last week against T. Higgins. He has given up some touchdowns. And I really think over here on the right is an opportunity for Keon Coleman, for Gabe Davis, or perhaps Tyrell Shavers. San Diego State, former Gruden grinder, does a lot of blocking, but I did see him get down the field deep against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Joshua Palmer appears to be out. But it's going to be Carlton Davis, Gonzalez with Jones in the slot that really got to do a great job playing man coverage so we can try to gang up on Josh Allen and negate some of his scramble plays. And then the safeties, you'll see Jalen Hawkins, number 21, at one of the safeties. He's got the other 2 interceptions. But it's this rookie, number 31, out of California that I love. Both of these are California Golden Bears, freezing their ass off in New England. I love it. But this guy, Woodson, 4th-round pick, he's played every single game, 98% of the plays. And some people get frustrated with him in coverage, but shit, he's covering some of the best guys in the world. And he's out there 98% of the plays. This guy's had a hell of a year. He's got 63 tackles, which is 2nd on the team. He has instincts, intelligence, plays the game hard, and he is going to have his hands full covering these tight ends of the Buffalo Bills, just like he did in Week 5. This game has everything I've been looking for. Patriots, Bills. Classic matchup, but you got to pick somebody. This game has it all. 2 great head coaches. The red-hot Patriots, 10 straight wins. I can't say enough about Josh McDaniels and Drake May, the job that they have done. But I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Look at this Buffalo Bill ball signed by the MVP, Josh Allen. Let's go Buffalo! Let's go Buffalo! I love Josh Allen and the Bills in big games. Buffalo, 30. New England, 24. It's going to be cold. Let's go Buffalo!